Sidewalk.
And I'm Max Sidewalk, and we're here with Congressman Dave Trott.
Alright, so we're just going to ask you some questions for anyone interested in you and what you do out there. So, how do you become a congressman?
Well, first, Madison and Max, thanks so much for coming in to interview me this morning.
Oh,
it's great to meet both of you. And there's a number of different ways you end up being able to serve in Congress. So many people, I would say the majority of folks, are in some other public service job. Typically they serve in the state legislature as a state representative or a state senator, and then they run for Congress. And a lot of times a state representative, they represent about 100,000 people, and a state senator represents about 300,000 people. In our congressional district, there's about 700,000 people. So many times people in the state legislature will be part of that congressional district, and then when there's an opportunity, they'll run for the congressional seat. My background's in business, so I really am kind of not a typical path to get to Congress, and my background's been in business for 30 years, so there are not too many people with that background. I think there should be more business people in Congress. So.
Very interesting. Now, Max, do you have anything to ask?
Yes. What are your responsibilities as a congressman?
Well, it's a great question, Max. So after 3 months in office, the way I define it is I think there are 3 ways a man or woman can be a good member of Congress and do a good job for the people in the district. The first, and they get the job, the 3 tasks get progressively more difficult. So the easiest thing to do is to set up a great team here in the district and in D.C. to help people with problems and opportunities. So we have people here that when veterans call up and they're not getting their benefits, or when someone hasn't gotten their Social Security check, or someone's having an immigration problem, or a problem with the IRS paying their taxes and issues there, we have a team here that can kind of cut through the red tape and get answers for people and help them with their problems. And then, for example, if a business is thinking about coming here to Oakland County, I can help try and convince the business to locate here and maybe bring jobs for people that need them, which is a great thing. So that's the easiest part of the job, and arguably one of the most important, because every day my team is out there getting problems and opportunities solved for people in the district. The next part of the job is to vote the way you think the people who elected you want you to vote. And that's a little more difficult, but again, if you stay true to your principles, and you do what you say you're going to do and what you promise to do, it's really not that difficult. So an example would be, we voted earlier this year in Congress to pass the Keystone Pipeline. And whether you agree with that or not, that was a vote that I said that I would cast in favor of when I was campaigning. I'm in favor of the Keystone Pipeline. If we don't take Canada's oil, someone else will, and we need energy here in the United States. Bobby McKenzie, who ran against me in the general election, who was a Democrat, who's a nice man, he would have voted against that. And so that's an example of a vote that there's a clear contrast between if I had been elected or if someone else had been elected. Then the third part of the job is to solve problems that are affecting our district and our country. And these are not problems like I didn't get my Social Security check or I didn't get my VA benefits. These are problems like there's too many regulations in the country, or our defense isn't strong enough. And that's more difficult in part because it's a highly partisan environment in Washington. So if a Republican comes up with a good idea, but President Obama doesn't like it, it's not going anywhere. And the other problem we have in Washington is we don't have any money. We have these huge deficits. So if I come up with a great idea, but it involves spending $100 million, we don't have that money. And so solving problems is an important part of the job and the most difficult part. Those are the 3 categories: helping people with their day-to-day problems, voting the way you say you're going to vote that represents the district well, and then solving kind of big problems affecting our nation.
Well,
kind of a long answer, I'm sorry, Max, but it's a little complicated perhaps.
Just to make it short, you're a problem solver,
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's the goal.
But when you were a kid growing up, did you ever want to be interested in politics? Because you said you're into business and all that, so...
So I did. I had a kind of a profound experience when I graduated from Michigan. So I was 20 years old, or yeah, just barely 21. I graduated in 1981. And I went to work for a man named Bill Broomfield, who was the congressman from Oakland County for a long time. He was the congressman represented Oakland County from 1956 to 1992, so for 36 years. And I went to work for him for a year before I went to law school. And he was very kind and very nice man. And I saw what he did every day. And I thought, gosh, if I could ever have the opportunity to go serve in Washington, it would be a privilege and something I would find very interesting. In fact, my last night in July of 1982, I went to dinner with a bunch of buddies because they knew I was leaving the next morning to come home and then pack my car up and go down to Duke for law school. And So we had a dinner, and then afterwards I went into the rotunda and I sat there and I thought, boy, it'd be great if I could come back here someday. So that was 32 years ago.
Wow.
So it's kind of a long time dream.
So any kids out there that are interested in politics, do you have any advice for them?
Well, I think, obviously get a good education, and I think, going to college and teaches you so many skills, critical thinking and good writing ability. And I went to law school. That's good training, even if you don't practice law, to serve in public office, because we deal with a lot of legislative and legal matters. I think being active in your community is a very important part of it, because you really can't come out of nowhere and run and win, or even understand what the issues are in your community. So being active in your community. I think having a family is obviously an important part of it, so you're kind of vested in your community. And then I think, this sounds a little, my father used to say to me, don't ever do anything you're not comfortable seeing on the front page of the newspaper. And it's good advice, especially today. And I grew up before all the social media and Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, and I don't quite candidly understand all that. There's no question the two of you understand it better than I do. But these days, you really do have to worry about what you're doing every minute of every day, in every place, even within your own home. And so I think, you want to live your life, even if you don't go into politics, in a way that you don't have too many regrets about choices you made.
That is very good advice. Now, I know Max has something just kind of goofy to ask you, so...
Sure.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream flavor is I don't know the exact name of it, because I always just go in and point to the same bin at Stroh's Ice Cream, but it's vanilla with caramel swirls in it and pecans. So I don't know if that's turtle ice cream or whatever it is. But
that's called.
Yeah, but when I'm really in a bind, I just have chocolate chip.
Hey, that works. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting us talk to you.
Thank you for coming in and visiting
honor.
Madison and Max. It's very nice to meet both of you, and I wish you great success. And if our office can ever help you, please reach out. And a few years when you're in college, if you need to do something for the summer, let us know, and maybe we can get you an internship in D.C., which is, one thing I'll say about D.C., it is a great place for young people. The whole town is run by 25-year-olds, so if you're in your early 20s and you're in D.C., it's a highly energized, interesting place to be, and that was my experience 32 years ago, and it's still true today. So I wish you well, and let us know if we can ever help you.
All right, thank you so much.
It's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Max, nice to meet you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.